Hi, I'm Terry Goodkind. Welcome to my home and my world. Come on in.
Art is the way we express the things that are important to us. When you read a story, you're seeing what's important to the author. When you see a story about characters that inspire us, that artist, that author is telling you that's what inspires him.
I would describe Terry as being a person who loves life. That is what is so fun being with him, because I like to feel that I'm the same type as he is, and we get along so well because of that.
One of the things that I've done ever since I was little was art. And art is something that's really helped me in writing. When you describe things in a book, you have to be able to pick out those essentials from any scene that create the impression for the reader of what that scene looks like. And whether it's spooky or romantic or whatever it is, I think just understanding the way to make something look in a painting helps me make it sound right in a book. Well, in my former life, before I was an author, I did a lot of different things. One of the things I started doing was making violins. So when you're making this, you have hundreds of hours invested, and if you make a mistake, go too deep, or you flake out a piece of the wood that goes really deep, you've ruined all that work. So I like doing things that are living on the edge. I like things that are extreme and difficult to do, and that at the same time create something beautiful, create something that's timeless, something that you can really be proud of. To me, that's really fun. And the harder it is to do, the more fun it is. From the time I was really little, I'm just fascinated by everything. I want to know where that trail goes through the woods. I want to know how this thing works. I'll take it apart. I want to know how to build something. I love the idea of building things. I think that's why I've always been drawn to doing things like fixing rare artifacts, making violins, painting, building on my own house, making cabinets, all of those kind of things. It's taking on a complex task, taking it apart into its essentials, understanding what makes that complex thing function. And stories are like that to me. What makes a character work? What makes them think that way? I've always been thinking up stories that I would like to write, and different kinds of stories, different kinds of characters. And when I was building our house in Maine, and I decided I really wanted to sit down and write one. For the last period of time when I was building our house, I thought through the story in my head. And the character I thought about first was Kaylin. And I came up with this idea of a woman who wields incredible power and has authority over the people she governs, who has special abilities, special talents, but she can't ever allow anyone to love her. And what kind of person would fall in love with a woman like that? And what would they have to overcome to get close to her? What choices does a human heart have to make in how they're going to live their life? All art reflects the soul of an artist. It's impossible to paint or draw or write without your own soul coming through. So as I'm writing about Richard and how he overcomes all these struggles, it's my personal philosophy that you're really hearing. It's my sense of justice, my sense of how to set wrongs to right. As the books evolve, he becomes more and more like me, because in the beginning he's kind of naive. So he has to learn lessons about what life is really like. He's a good person, he has a good heart, and he has an innate love of life. This is one of the covers from my books done by Keith Parkinson, who did all of my covers. And this is my favorite painting out of all of them. It represents what I love about art, about striving for the nobility of mankind, about aspiring to be the best you can be. The other thing that this picture represents is our highest value, and that's time. because time represents our lives. This is a sundial, and every moment that passes is a moment you can never get back. And it reminds you that your time of existence is limited, and you should value each moment of that existence. And so not only is this a beautiful statue representing mankind, it also is reminding us that life is precious and every moment is precious, and to always keep that in mind. I've lived with Richard and Kaylin for 15 years. I mean, they're my best friends. I know them intimately. I know how they would react in every situation.
So these are trails that we cut through our woods. I wanted to sort of recreate at our house the kind of feeling I get from walking in the woods with Richard and Kaylin. And, you know, just the feeling of being surrounded by trees and rocks and the forest. I like to walk around and think about what things look like when I'm writing. You know, what does the sun look like when it comes through trees? What does it look like when the sun reflects off pine needles? All those kind of things. Those are really meaningful to me, and they really help me understand the kind of world Richard and Kaylin live in, and help me to write about what their world looks like.
When I have Richard see Kaylin for the first time, it's a place where I can take you to. I know where that spot is. These are trails I've walked on a daily basis. These are my woods.
This really reminds me of being in the kind of woods that Richard and Kaylin are in. It just feels good to sit here in the trees and be away from everything.
The woods that are Richard's Heartland woods are my woods. They're my home. It's the place where my heart is at home. Writing, for me, is like driving a race car. It's putting yourself right on the edge. It's every moment being at the limit of your own ability. I always feel like, almost like I'm on the edge of my seat, looking for the perfect word where if I can make the sentence exactly the right way, that somehow the reader will magically dissolve into that world. 2 hours will go by and I realize I've worked on one paragraph for 2 hours because I'm so focused on trying to make it exactly the way I want to be, to make it feel the way I feel in my head. And I'm in that world, and I'm trying to find that right word to get you right up to the edge, to take the reader through that magical curtain into that place. And you're in the race car, you're trying to get through that magical barrier to get you to the absolute limit of the laws of physics so that no one could go through that corner faster than you went through that corner.
When he's racing, you can't think about anything else. In fact, one time when he went by the tower where I was watching him,